Hello guys, welcome to my channel Akwaba Canada. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are excited to have you here. We have good news, but bad news and mixed feeling, all mixed together for you today. Now, ordinarily I would have waited for up to weekend to record this, but I can't wait because somebody needs to hear this update. And this is about international students who are looking forward to coming to Canada. Now, I remember we made announcements, we've made videos, if you watch our videos, to tell you that if you need to make a decision, you need to make it now. If you're looking to come to Canada, the everyday changes are made to the immigration setup. And every day, especially for international students, changes are made in terms of how we qualify in and all that. Now, in the past 3 or 4 months, we've had the influx of students who are coming in who are not prepared financially and every aspect of it. They come to Canada and they are almost like they don't have money for accommodation, they don't have money for their fees and all that. So few months ago, I made a recording and I showed that you need to prepare yourself, especially with accommodation, especially with other transportation arrangements and all that. Now, the record that we have, data showing that about 16,000 people who came into Canada, either through study or other means, filed and sought for asylum. Now, you see, the government is very smart. It keeps monitoring everything that is happening, and this is going to affect a lot of people. So the Minister of Immigration, that is Honorable Mark Miller, and pardon me, I'll be reading the press release that just came in today. I'll post the link in the comment section, the description, for you to have access to it. But this, the essence of it is saying that they are increasing the proof of finance that is required for a student to apply for study permit. This is actually a good news. That's what I mean by good news, bad news. It's good news because now every student or potential student knows how much is expected to have in his account before you apply for study permit. It is good news because you are going to be prepared whether you need to make money to pay your fees and all that. In the past, most cases, you didn't know how much you expected the cap on the proof of finance. So it was difficult to kind of judge and know why you were refused and all of that. This is going to help. But the downside is that the currency variations in various countries is huge. And so it's going to be really hard. I'll read the press release and this will be posted in the description for you to have access to it. It says the Honorable Mark Miller, Minister of Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship, announced today that starting January 1, 2024, so starting January 1, 2024, the cost of living financial requirements for study permit applicants will be raised so that international students are financially prepared for life in Canada. Very important because they don't want you to come to Canada and be a burden. Mind you, every international student coming into Canada would have approval for work. You will be approved to be able to work 20, 30 or more hours. But they want you to know that that work would not be sufficient enough for the cost of living and other expenses in Canada. Because you're not working full-time, you're a student. You're expected to go to school full-time and work part-time. So this is what they are saying that is going to be raised. Now, moving forward, this threshold will be adjusted each year when Statistics Canada updates the low income cutoff point, that is LICO. So Statistics Canada always monitors what is happening. So never think that you come into Canada and nobody knows what is happening. They're always monitoring and updating the government on how things are going. And there is a low minimum income cutoff that we have in Canada. So it will be measured with that every year. So there will be an adjustment in that. Now, the LICO represents the minimum income necessary to ensure that an individual does not have to spend a greater than average portion of income on necessities. So it's just basically saying that if you're a low income person, you're not expected to be in, let's say, an apartment that is paying too high. There are specific rates for low income earners and in terms of how much you can spend and all of that. And the taxes, especially the tax bracket and all those things. Now, the cost of living requirement for study permit applicants has not changed since the year 2000. That is over 23 years ago. So now they're making this major change. When it was set at $10,000, this information wasn't available. I'm being honest with you. Most of us didn't know this. So it was at $10,000 since 2000, and now it's increasing. For a single applicant, as such, the financial requirement hasn't kept up with the cost of living over time, resulting in students arriving in Canada only to learn that their funds aren't adequate. For 2024, a single person, so for 2024, starting January 1st, 2024, a single applicant will need to show they have $20,635,000. So $26,35,000, representing 75% of the low income cutoff, LICO. In addition to the first year of tuition and travel cost. So basically, you would need to show, before you apply for your study permit or your study requirement, you need to show that you have $20,635,000 in your account for cost of living. In addition, you would also need to show that you have full tuition for the first year. So if your school or your admission is approved for 2 years, you will need to show that you have tuition for the first year, full year. If it is for 1 year, then please, your guess is as good as mine. You need to have the full amount in your account. And travel cost. So you should show that you will be able to pay for your tickets and all that. They have a way of checking, and they expect you to also check. So it's $20,635 plus first year fee plus travel cost. This change will apply to new study permit applications received on or after January 1st, 2024. So for those who have already applied, good luck to you. You will still be measured with a $10,000 benchmark. But if you haven't, say I have already gotten admission, but I haven't applied for it, and I'm going to put in my application. This is starting January 1. So from January 1, please go and revise your notes. You need to get new bank statements showing this amount. $20,635 plus first year tuition, full first year tuition, plus travel cost. Now, while this would prevent student vulnerability and exploitation, we recognize that the impact of the change could vary depending on the applicant. Next year, in collaboration with the partners, we intend to implement targeted pilots that would test new ideas aimed at helping underrepresented cohorts or international students pursue their studies in Canada. So essentially, this is what the change is. Don't say you don't know and go and apply and they would just refuse you. Please, you found it here first. Share it with your friend. You need to have $20,000 in your account. You need to have first year tuition full. You need to have your travel cost up to date. That is what you must show in your account. Without this, please do not bother yourself applying. And this is also going to ensure that we have quality students coming into the country. Students who are capable of managing their finances. Students who are capable of concentrating on their studies and finishing because they won't worry about monetary issues. Students who will not come and become liability to the government of Canada. Students who are not going to come into a society begging for people to host them. Students who are not going to come into the country filing for asylum. You came to Canada as a student. You said you're coming to school. Now you're filing for asylum. Can you imagine? It doesn't work like that. So please, you heard it here first. I'm going to post the link there and I'll do a screenshot of it and just show it in the video. Make sure you take note of this. Share it with as many people as you can, and make sure everyone gets to know this information. Thank you so much as always. Join us on our Facebook channel at Akwaba Canada, on our YouTube at Akwaba_Canada, and subscribe to this channel on YouTube here at Akwaba Canada. Thank you so much. Like the video and send your comments. Bye-bye.